Here we go. It's time for another sprint zone. This one is for 4/20/2025. I didn't have a splash screen this time because, well, I didn't take the time to do it. And of course, my camera failed. So I'd like to thank Scott Pollia for his GoPro footage, which without I wouldn't have anything. I'd also like to thank him for his telemetry, along with Curtis Jensen's telemetry for this one. This is kind of a windy day. You can't really see it here, but there's a strong wind coming out of the east, and we are, of course, heading east. And the speeds are down. It was a little bit brisk coming up County Road 5. I'm not certain what this trend is, that people like to go a couple of mile an hour faster, and then when we get to the sprint zone, it slows down. I'm like, what is up with that? But at least at this point, everyone waits till everyone is around the corner and the rules of engagement have been adhered to. Looking up front there, it looks like Felix in the orange, looking strong there, as Scott, the cameraman, goes to the front to keep everyone honest. Looking at everybody's heart rates or whatever, that's interesting. Scott's is really low, so maybe that's not working. Mine's up there at 152 back there, but the wattage is good. So looking at Scott's 30-second, 223, mine 198, Curtis is 213. You can see that we are closer to the pointy end of the stick, which is making our wattages high. And here we go. The pace is starting to hot up. You look at Scott's instantaneous was like 300 and something, as it looks like Felix driving the pace hard up there. Still 2x2, which means not too hard, or people just don't want to string things out yet, and they just want to keep everybody honest. But looking at our 30-second powers, well over 222, and mine seems to be the highest of everyone here. If I recall correctly, I was on the windward side on the right shoulder, so that would make sense. Not very wise of me to be in that position, but sometimes you get what you get. And I believe I wanted to stay close enough to the front here. Looks like there's a little bit of a wiggle of the elbow. Some chatter there. It looks like, people wanted to get off the front. Not quite certain who that was on the white bike there. But Felix is always happy to go to the front. And he was on the podium from the week ago at the Cobb Lake Road Race. So we know he has some pedigree. Also a mountain bike racer and a longtime cyclist who it runs in his family and his daughter races. And he is one that is not afraid to put his nose to the wind, keeping everyone honest. Scott looks like he's got some good draft there. I was still in the 200s, 230 now, 238 as we are coming up to this notorious bend here where there's always an acceleration when it chicanes to the left. My heart rate looks like 167. And this is where it would have been in the old days when I was on the rivet. But now it seems to be about 8 beats per minute higher. I had done a 5K a week or so ago, and I'd done the same one last year, and with the surprise, exact same time to the second. But looking at the heart rate, my heart rate was 8 beats higher this year, and I'm attributing that to the COVID as I've observed in my recovery. Hopefully it'll get back. But I digress. Scott at the front, pushing hard. Look at his 30-second power, in above 250. Curtis going to the front now, and you can see his wattage up there, 270 for his 30-second power. People are just a ramming and a thumping. And there's a good shot of Ian there, third wheel, riding strong. And this was one of the rides where Ian was riding super strong. He even made the selection. Things are looking good. There's a good shot of me with the camera on the head, unfortunately, with my camera lid covered. And then we see Anna on my wheel, followed by the rest of the peloton. And it is a good gaggle of people these days. Looks like Brian there in the red kit. As Scott is pushed himself to the back, I am certain there's a place that he does not want to be. Looking at Curtis's power, 345 as he comes off the front, riding on the windward side. My 30-second power, 277. This is a lot of work being done by the men here that are on the windward side. Scott coming up to the left here. Might have been a slight violation of the yellow line rule, but I can't really tell because, camera angles. So we'll say that's a pass. And I know Scott's really good at minding the line, so we are good. So overlap wheels here slightly. That would make me nervous a little bit, but maybe it's the camera angle. Looking at the power here, my power's still above 200 for the 30 seconds. Scott's has drifted to 147, 150. You can see how much better the draft is when you have a lot of people in front of you. Everybody pushing hard, and I do not believe a real selection has been made yet. Everyone pushing hard here, and the speed is reasonable at 23 miles an hour, especially given the strong headwind that was there. Cadences look good by everybody as we head to this little inflection point. This is the hill, the first little test of metal, and if you are on the rivet at this point, this is where you need to dig deep, and hopefully you are near the front, as if you are, you can at least sag back a couple of watts and maybe get back on. Scott in arrears here. Looks like he is in fact the patron of the group, no doubt the strongest here. Good shot of Anna for a second there in the red kit, looking strong. I can see that her winter training in Arizona doing the shootout has made her exceptionally capable these days and is no problem riding with the big men. There I am with my camera there, looked like a Teletubby, trying to get myself some shelter as there is a little bit of a break here. Oh, and there's the yellow line violation that I had recollected on this one. But, if someone goes left, you got to do what you got to do to save yourself. And there it is. A little bit of acceleration, and there is a breakaway. Curtis leading the charge of the chasers here. And it looks like, yes, I am taking over. And looking at my wattage, 285 for 30 seconds. So I am working hard to try to keep these people in check. Looking strong, everybody. Scott has the smallest amount of wattage here. He's got good draft. You can see the echelon is working really well as we are bringing back the recalcitrants. Strong men back here. Just bringing them back and working well together. This is what I like to see, and Daniel has taken over. Nice and smooth here. Nice and smooth. Everybody working really hard. Scott just kind of sitting in, and look at his wattage. Only 157 for 30 seconds. And this is just a testament to his aerodynamics and what the draft can do to you. Everybody has shelter. And look at Curtis's wattage dropping back there. Not certain where he is, but no doubt there was some shelter here. But it was not easy to bring these people back, and I like to see people attacking like that. Wish I was a little further up front to be able to see what was going on, but it is all good, and they are being brought back as they were not cooperating. Perhaps a little extra hubris, and they have been shelled here. Nice work, gentlemen. Looks like there may be Carey there on the felt there, looking strong. Danny standing up, looking good. And look, there's a good shot of me on the inside of Mark. And look at the cadence that Mark has, just like a sewing machine. And now the second echelon is somewhat formed here. Looks like Mark is kind of leading that. I'm trying to keep myself a little bit of shelter here. Felix, second wheel there. And this was a very nice catch, gentlemen. Very nice to bring these people back. A testament to working together nicely. Here I am kind of sitting in here, and I can see like gaps maybe starting to open up a little bit. So I'm trying to like stay close, keep that second echelon in there, keep my wattage down. And you can see it has come down 116 as people have no doubt lulled a little bit, which is good. You need that, attack and go, attack and go. Scott's in a really good position here, looking strong. Looks like Justin at the front. And here goes Danny, looking for his 30 seconds of fame. I'm not certain he has seen the pointy end of the stick yet, but he is just a ramming and a thumping. But everyone is easily up on him. Not quite the attack that we wanted to see here, but maybe he's just working hard, keeping everybody honest. Looking at the wattage there, mine above 200. Daniel pulls off a little bit to the left. trying to get a look and to see who was back there. Maybe people want to come through here. No one wants to come through. Interesting that Daniel came off to the left-hand side. I guess that's okay in racing. I would have just dropped back to where I was on the right-hand side because that's more predictable. But, it wasn't horrible. Ramming and a thumping here. Life is good. Life is good. Scott has a good wheel here. And being towed to the front. My wattage at some point, look at that, over 500 watts. I was probably being dispatched back there. My 30-second power, 311. Scott's 360. Curtis is over 400 as everybody is pushing hard. And look at the big wattage about the big man. Scott, 700 plus watts. I was only to muster 350 watts out of there. Curtis looking good, over 500 watts. And it looks like Scott has fully gone all in, asserting his dominance of the group. And look at that, my heart rate 176, Scott's 163, Curtis is 158. And look at those wattages. It looks like Curtis must not be far behind here as we crest the summit. And Scott's impressive power, able to hold this all the way to the top. And I'm certain he has looked up. He's probably sat up now for the most part, seeing that no one was going to challenge him. Well done, everybody. And you can see I'm still pushing along, trying to keep myself in a reasonable position. And that was good. Kind of bummed that I did not have my camera because, as I was told, there were lots of yellow line violations here. Come on, people. I mean, it is nice to stay in the group, but anyone who's raced, there is such a thing as a yellow line rule, and you will be disqualified if, in fact, you break it. It's not safe to be doing that because, like, a lot of people just aren't aware if there are cars back. Cars are expecting us to stay in our lane. So, and if they're trying to pass us and you got race brain, shit can happen. So, end of my lecture. I'll probably be saying more about that in subsequent videos. But anyhow, a good time was had by all. Nice that I think this was, unfortunately, Ian's last Tuesday sprint, and he was able to stay with the selection there, which I know made him very happy. Can't say enough about that. It's a testament to the strength of the group. A good time was had by all. Peace out.